We just finished training. He said it was an easy workout. We were there for fucking 2 hours and a half. He said we're just fucking around. I haven't done back like that in a long time. We were talking about food while we were at the gym, about protein, carbs, and how a lot of people have the misconception about always asking calories. How many calories should I eat? And we were talking about the difference between bodybuilding and powerlifting and cycling and all that endurance shit. What's the big difference? Bodybuilding world, it goes more by protein grams, right?
The consumption of grams of protein. Feed the muscles. It's different than eating to lose weight or meet a goal, or bodybuilding is a total different beast. We eat to grow as much lean muscle mass as possible. So when you're constructing a bodybuilder's diet, or if you're a bodybuilder, you think in terms of how many grams of protein can I consume? Because if you say calories, you're speaking in generalities. So, excuse me. So you're really not being definitive. So as a bodybuilder, you have to be specific and precise with your diet and how to structure it. But if you were doing other sports like you're a runner, you're a cyclist, you're a powerlifter, or whatever it is, that's a whole different ballgame. That's when you start thinking of calories. Because you have to consume enough calories, not protein per se. Of course, you have protein in there, but it's to sustain your endurance. And that's when sugar and all those things come in. So that's what we're talking about. Once you enter bodybuilding, the dynamics change. It's a whole different thing.
You made a good point on students.
Yes.
Students about their high stress levels and going through midterms and all that stuff, about consuming higher sugar and carbs in their diet, right?
Of course, for those of you that are going to school, you have midterms coming up. What have you? Quiz, exams. That's a high stress environment and mental capacity. Your thinking faculty changes, and you have to flow with it. You're not going to be in a lean diet and be able to absorb an insurmountable amount of information. So for those of you that are in academia, any high stress, like people that play with numbers, like engineers, architects, then that's a different story, because that's when you need to consume a little more sugar, a little more carbohydrates, or else if you cut out your carbs and sugar, it's going to be a disaster. You probably won't even be awake to pass a test or to study. Then that calls for a whole different diet. So you have to know what you're doing and where you are in life, the stress levels, how much sleep do you get, how much activity do you get, how much of your stuff requires thinking. Of course, you have to think of before you do anything. But I'm sure you know what I'm trying to say, or JC's trying to say. So the more you think, the more carbohydrates you need. It always, no matter what you're doing, you're going to school, or you have a high stress level environment as in work, always try to find time to go to the gym and do some lifting, so it'll help big time with bringing down the stress levels.
You heard it. And this is not just coming from just anybody. This is fucking Stryker, okay? If you don't know fucking Stryker, he knows his shit.
I try.
He's let me just put it like this. He's put in the time to study. He's been in the trenches. He's worked with people. It's like back in the day, you had those mechanics that would work on cars, in the backyard, and they would listen to the motor and tune it up like that.
That's by listening.
That's by listening. So
they didn't have diagnostics.
Exactly. They didn't have computers. They didn't have none of that
Nothing.
shit. They would hear the motor and know what to fix on it. And this is what I think is like it's being lost right now in the fitness industry, is that a lot of these dudes are coming out with degrees, exercise science, and I was actually having a little argument with somebody the other day about how textbook wise everybody should squat the same, and I was telling him no, because everybody's body structure is different.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody needs to be able to squat a different way because of how they're built, or injuries, or
That's right.
or just anything, even just their hip movement.
Yes.
And he was telling me, no, textbook wise, it has to be done a certain way. And I was like, that's the very, to me, it's tricky, because like, I like to argue with these dudes because they think they know it all because they went to school for 3-4 years, whatever. And I learned all my shit in prison. So it is what it is. I taught myself. I read a lot of books, and I did a lot of hands-on training myself, other individuals. And one thing that I have to say is that I've always had a mentor. I've always had somebody to guide me that knows more than me. Stryker was one of my very first mentors, and I begged him for weeks before he fucking said yes to me, and I wanted to learn from the best, and that's what I strive to do. You need to hang around with people that you want to be like. You can't hang around with a bunch of fucking losers and think that, like, if you're the best looking dude out of your whole crew, then something's wrong.
Yep. That's as far as you're gonna go.
That's as far as you're going. That's it. I don't want to be like that. I want to reach on and beyond. Remember, this is America. We live in the best fucking country in the world. Dreams do come true. This is like the Cinderella country.
No limits.
No limits. Sky is the fucking limit. I mean, who would have thought? Look at me. 17 years in prison. Grew up in the streets.
True story.
No schooling. No nothing. I went to 6th grade. I barely got my GED. So
look what he's doing today.
So,
They don't teach that in school, but it's taught at the school of hard knocks.
So with that being said, man, stay tuned for a lot of the new stuff that's going to be coming out. My book should be released in about another 6 months. There's going to be more to come.
He only has a 6th grade education, but he has a book. He's going to be an author. In another 6 months, he will be an author. Well, he only has a 6th grade education. Now, you don't make this stuff up. Go ahead, JC.
And maybe we could have a show where we'll bring on Stryker every Sunday and have, a question and answer kind of deal. If you guys want to answer about diet, training, stuff like that, maybe I could convince him, to give a little bit of his time to my fans.
As long as you feed me, I'm good.
So
if I'm fed, I'm good.
If you guys think that's a good idea, send me drop some messages on there. Let me know, and we could go from there.